Welcome to Purpose NIL. I'm your host and coach on Purpose, James M. Rink. Today we're talking about something that shapes every decision you make in business and life, your values. Let me tell you a story that helped shape mine. I was in the second grade. My older brother Kevin was in the fourth. Kevin had Duchenne muscular dystrophy. He wore special supportive shoes and leg braces. This caused him to walk differently. One day, a kid in Kevin's class started to pick on him, calling him too slow or walks funny, just being a bully. I don't do well with bullies. That kid was probably 2 years older than me and at least 6 inches taller, but I confronted him anyway. Not because I thought I would win, but because it was treating my brother unfairly. And protecting my brother mattered more to me than being afraid. That moment shaped a core value that I still carry with me today: fairness. As an adult, my core values are honesty, integrity, accountability, and fairness. They guide how I lead, how I coach, how I do business, and who I choose to do business with, and those that I choose to not do business with. So let me ask you, what are your values? At Purpose of You, we ask 2 simple questions to uncover them quickly. If you were dating somebody, what's the fastest way to breaking up? Or if you hired someone, what's the fastest way to getting fired? Your answers reveal your values immediately. Here's how this matters in business. Teams don't fall apart because of a lack of purpose. They fall apart because of a lack of shared values. Toxic work environments don't just happen by accident. They happen when values are unclear, ignored, or violated. Think of it this way. Purpose is your heart, and your values are your rib cage and sternum that protect it. Strong values create a psychological safety of trust and alignment between the CEO, managers, and the team. They act as a boundary of protection for your culture. Right now, disengagement, quietly quitting, or employees walking away aren't just being passive. They're being very clear about their values. People are saying enough is enough. This reflects who they are and why it no longer works with the people that they want to work for. You'll see this later in the show, where we see values come to life with the University of Oklahoma football tight end John Locke and OU women's basketball rising star Zaya Van, as they intentionally live their values while building their NIL businesses. Different sport, same principles. Value first, purpose follows.
Give a little life update. Been a heck of a year. Turned 39. Married the love of my life, and really found my vocational calling. You know, I did some work last year to figure out, all right, what's my purpose? So I had just called off an engagement, had just moved from Montana, walked away from a job that I really loved and was passionate about, just hit a rock bottom moment, like I'm starting all over again. I really want to lean in and figure out why I'm here. I need to figure out my purpose. So that's when I enrolled in the Purpose of You Masterclass.
Go to purposeofyou.com to learn more.
My purpose is to love and connect with people, inspiring them towards freedom and helping them create their dream life.
I didn't know where I was going. I would say I was without direction. You know, a lot of the pain for myself came from not being able to communicate or not even knowing what it was exactly that I wanted. I've learned to filter it through my purpose now that I've really specified that. But when I'm fully me, when I'm alive, when I'm gathering people, like, what brings you to life? Fire it up. When we know our purpose and we're walking in that, there is just such a joy and life in that.
Knowing your purpose can transform your life.
Welcome back to Purpose NIL. This segment is all about values, because purpose without values don't scale. If you're recruiting new team members, here's a question every leader must do. They need to ask, does this person's values align with yours and the culture you're building? And if you're the one in the interview chair, the same question applies. Does this company and its leadership actually live the values and stand for that you support? Values are the filter of trust, performance, and long-term success. And now you'll see values in actions. We're joined by University of Oklahoma football tight end John Locke as he defines his purpose, clarifies his values, and begins to shape his NIL business right now that's intentional. When it comes to NIL for businesses and athletes, businesses always have values that protect the company's mission. Identifying your values as a student athlete for NIL opportunities, many times for a corporation to invest in you with an NIL opportunity, they want to ensure that your values align with their values. Purpose and values always go together. In the Purpose of You masterclass, I've asked John to identify his core values. The two questions that I always tell people are, if you're in a dating relationship, what's the fastest value to break up with that person? Or if you hire somebody to do work or a job for you, what's the fastest way for them to get fired? So, John, going through this exercise, what did you learn about yourself and what are your core values?
So my core values, which I think work, I like how you set up the exercise in terms of, what kind of sets you off, because that is ultimately what values you hold to yourself. And so the values that I came up with a little more than 5. They were accountability, dependability, commitment, faith, integrity, sacrifice, vision, and then my most important, and I think the one I hold most true to myself, is discipline.
All right. So I've counted 8 values, which means you are a man of value, which is always a good thing. But I'd like to just get a little context for each of these, if you don't mind. Let's start with the first word, accountability. How did you get to that word?
Well, I think, if you're in a meaningful relationship with somebody, whether it's in the workforce or, a personal relationship, accountability has to be something that's evident, because one goes both ways. I have to be able to hold them accountable, and they have to be able to meet that versus them holding me accountable, because it just shows a level of trust. And if, you can't be accountable, then what kind of relationship can we build, and, how can we get anywhere?
That's great. And accountability is vital in the world of finance. So if you're going into that after college, accountability is just paramount in the accounting business. All right. How about dependability? How did you get to that word?
Yeah. So dependability is also huge because, from a football standpoint, if I can't depend on someone to do the bare minimum, then once again, we're never going to get anywhere.
Okay. How about integrity?
Yeah. Well, with integrity, if I'm in a relationship with somebody or if I'm in a workforce with somebody, I want everything that they do to be with integrity, because I like to think that everything I'm trying to do, and I know I'm not perfect, but everything I'm doing is with as much integrity as I can possibly give. I mean, I'm not perfect, but when it comes to my goals and aspirations, the discipline that I'm going to have towards that in terms of what has to be done, it's going to get done. And I always like to say that that's something that was passed down directly from my father, because the only person that growing up, especially, that I ever said was more disciplined than me was my father. He wasn't going to be late. He wasn't going to drop the ball, and it led to an extreme amount of success in his life because, he was just so disciplined. And so it's really important to me.
That's great. How about commitment?
Commitment is also big too, because we always like to say in my family that Locks are really loyal and that Locks give a lot of commitment to whatever they do. I mean, clearly showing our success and where, me and my brothers and my sister have been and are going to go, that when we put our mind to something, we're very committed. And so if I'm in a relationship or I'm in the workforce with somebody, I got to have that same level of commitment going around, because I'm going to show 100% commitment in whatever it is I'm doing. So if someone around me isn't, it's going to show.
That's good. How about faith?
Faith is big too, because, you always have to have faith, because there's times in life where, things are just going to be uncertain, and that you have to have faith to fall back on spiritually, but also, just having faith in what you've done to get you to that moment. And so faith is huge.
And how about sacrifice?
Sacrifice, I think I just relate to, on a more personal level. And I hope to, do more as I get in better positions to do so. But my parents just have sacrificed so much for me and my brothers and my sister. And, the level of success that their sacrifice has led to has just been astronomical. And I want to be able to do the same. Sacrifice is a value that means a lot to me. So if someone in a relationship with me can do that for me, that goes a long way. And I definitely want to be able to do the same back.
Excellent. And the last one I had was vision.
Right. Vision. Vision is also important because, if you don't have a vision for example, in this exercise, if you don't have a vision in this workplace or with a personal partner, then what is the point? There has to be a vision of what you wish to accomplish in whatever it is that you're doing. And without that, you're just kind of aimlessly, going, and it'll lead to a lack of success.
That's great. Student athletes, you must have values. Corporations are always going to be interested in what your core values are to make sure your values align with the values of the company that you want to represent. As we wrap this segment, a big thank you to John Locke for showing what it looks like to lead with values as he builds his Purpose NIL. Be sure to follow John on social media at John Locke OC. And if you're a business owner looking to create purpose-aligned NIL opportunities with him, visit Open Doors to explore that partnership. You can watch more of John's full Purpose NIL story on my YouTube channel at James M. Rink. Coming up next, we shift to the hardwood and shine a light on OU women's basketball star Zaya Van as she shares her values guiding her life, her leadership, and her NIL.
Was connecting with other people that were also going through the same thing that I was going through. So I knew I wasn't alone, and other people battled that. And so having that encouragement was so helpful. Understanding where all of it comes from, why the feelings, frustration, it was validated. And once I had that validation, I was able to move forward and know that, okay, so throughout all of this, I am called to inspire people to transform their relationships, help them feel worthy and valued.
To learn how discovering your purpose can transform your life, go to purposeofyou.com.
Knowing what my purpose is helps me take care of me, because I have to take care of me first. If you're not valuing yourself and you're not feeling worthy, it's something I lived and had to find out, right? What that purpose was. My bucket was completely empty, and I'm trying to pour into other people, and I had nothing. So in order to take care of me is reminding myself of what I am called to do. I'm seeing those things now. Before, I didn't see where my impact was at all. I am Cheryl Fox, and my purpose is to inspire others to transform their relationships, helping them feel worthy and valued.
Go to purposeofyou.com and take the free transformational assessment.
Welcome back to Purpose NIL. Let's continue with the show. We're heading to the University of Oklahoma's women's basketball to sit down with Zaya Van as she begins to share her core values. So Zaya, we've got a great step that we're going to do if Purpose of You. We're going to focus on the values, the things that you care the most about that are values. Your purpose, much like a heart, a vital organ, in our body, we have a rib cage and sternum to protect it. That's what values do. Values help protect your purpose. And it helps you to always stay true to yourself, that you're living by the things that you care about the most, the values. My values are honesty, accountability, integrity, and fairness. When people trespass any one of those four values, I know that I got a problem, that I need to protect myself and my purpose. So Zaya, here are two questions that I want you to identify as number one if you're dating somebody, what's the fastest way to breaking up with somebody in a dating relationship? What value would they have to break?
If someone were to cheat on me, I would break up with them because I feel like that's just like the biggest sign of like disrespect, or like it just shows that you don't really, like, even if you do love me, it just shows that you don't respect me enough to not like just go and hurt my feelings. And it just shows that you're not being faithful to our relationship.
So what I heard was disrespect and faithful. How did you get to that?
I feel like if you were to disrespect me or my family, you don't have any respect for me. Do any of those things to me, because why would I stay with you if you're not respecting me? That just means I don't respect myself.
That's great. All right. The other thing you said, the fastest way for me to break up with somebody, assault.
Like if they were to assault me.
How did you get to why assault would be a non-negotiable for you?
Because you shouldn't be putting your hands on me. Like that's not showing love. Like you don't love me if you could put your hands on me. And that means like you don't love me. So.
And when you say not love, is the opposite? Would that be hatred? It's a sign of hatred?
Yes.
Violence is hatred. All right. So the next question, if you hired somebody to do work for you, what's the fastest way to firing them?
Maybe like if they argue with me about like one of my ideas, or just like try to go against it. Like I feel like it's fine to like try to like maybe come up with like a better plan, but like if you're like just like arguing with me, like just completely going against what I'm saying, then I'd probably fire them for that.
I would imagine with you can get in arguments with your teammates or people that you're working with, but it's mostly a shared of ideas and opinion to get to something better. Is that fair?
Yes.
Then it's productive discussion, even if it's heated and passionate.
Exactly. Yes.
However, some people like to argue just for the sake of arguing, and that ends up being either bullying or it's not fair.
Okay.
Does that sound right?
Yeah.
So
exactly.
You said you collected 6 of words. What words were on the list?
Okay, I have curiosity, discipline, empathy, friendship, happiness, influence, peace, religion, self-respect, spirituality, thoughtfulness, and faithfulness.
You're a woman of a lot of values. If you had to narrow it down to, let's say, your top 4 to 6, what would those, high priority values be?
Yeah. Okay. Peace. I'll say spirituality. Self-respect, faithfulness, and empathy.
I love that list. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I count 5. Is that right? Peace, spirituality, self-respect, faithfulness, and empathy.
Yes.
All right. So let's walk through each of these. Why would you say peace is a core value for you?
Just because I love to I just love to be in like a peaceful state of mind. I feel like I just operate better.
And how about spirituality? Why is that a core value for you?
I feel like spirituality has a lot to do with like, in a way, just finding my purpose and living my purpose, and then also just my relationship with God.
The personal following is more spiritually centric for you than organized religion. Is that what you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. How about self-respect? How did you get to that as a core value?
Because I feel like if I don't have any respect for myself, and like love myself, then like nobody else is gonna really respect me. So yeah.
And faithfulness.
Faithfulness, in my opinion, is just like a way of like showing your love and like loyalty. And I feel like I'm a very loyal person, and so I like to have the same.
That's great. And empathy.
I really just like care for others. Like I've just always been that way, where I just truly care for others. And I wouldn't change anything about that, about me.
Those are all great values, Zaya, and you have as much flexibility as you're in this work in progress. As you're finalizing your purpose statement, you can also be learning more about yourself and your core values and why these values matter the most to you. And you might update them and refine them so that they truly are a yin and yang. They work in harmony with your purpose to protect your purpose, which protects you so that you can live your purpose within yourself, as well as living your purpose for others outside of yourself. As we wrap this segment, a big thank you to Zaya Van for sharing her values and showing what it looks like to live them with intention on and off the court. Be sure to follow Zaya on social media at Zaya Van to keep up with her journey. And if you're a business owner looking to align your company with purpose, explore NIL opportunities with Zaya on Open Doors. And for more Zaya's Purpose NIL story, head to my YouTube channel and subscribe at James M. Rink. Coming up next, I'll leave you with a closing and inspiring idea to help you live your purpose in a bigger way. This is Purpose NIL.
I'm just so super thankful that I took the time to go through this masterclass and invest in myself to really discover my life's purpose. Because when we know our purpose and we're walking in that and we're helping them to feel a certain way, there is just such a joy and life in that. Take the time, go through the course, figure out your whys, figure out how you want to feel, figure out your actions. It's absolutely worth it.
Discovering your purpose can transform your life. Go to purposeofyou.com to learn more.
Welcome back. This is a message for CEOs, founders, and business leaders. And it's about values. Not soft values, not posters on a wall. Foundational values. I created Purpose of You back in the 1990s after reading the book Built to Last, one of the most important business data books ever written, studying purpose-driven companies like Nordstrom, Disney, and Sony, organizations that outperformed the market for decades, not because of hype, but because of clear purpose and deeply lived values. What we did at Purpose of You was reverse engineer the data into clear, practical strategy that you can use personally and professionally. Purpose gives your business a heart, values protect it. Together, they guide decisions when pressure is high and clarity is low. If you want to explore this further, many of our free CEO resources are available at purposeofyou.com under Purpose CEO. If you're ready for a deeper conversation, I invite you to schedule a free purpose strategy call with me. This isn't a sales pitch. It's an honest conversation about aligning who you are with why you are and how you lead. Now I want to share something I recently learned about myself and purpose. I live in Nashville, Tennessee. January 2026, we experienced a major ice storm. Roads were closed, trees were down, power was out across the city. Within 24 hours without electricity and heat, the temperature in my house dropped from 70 degrees to 60 to 49. My biggest concern was my 87-year-old mom. She walks with a cane or a walker and could barely move her hands from the cold. I knew I had to get her out of her house and into a hotel. But my car was low on gas. I decided to fill up first before putting her in the car so I wouldn't risk running out of gas with her inside. Many gas stations were closed or completely sold out. The usual places I would rely on weren't operating. Then I noticed a Circle K that was open. As I pulled in, I realized that they were out of regular unleaded and only had premium. I braced myself for the price until I saw it. They were selling premium fuel at the regular unleaded price. In the middle of the crisis, Circle K chose to not price gouge. They chose service. They chose people. Circle K's mission is to make customers' lives and journeys easier and more enjoyable by providing quick, friendly service and small boosts along the way. In that moment, they lived it. That's purpose in action. That's values under pressure. Circle K made a believer out of me. Here's the takeaway. Values aren't tested when things are easy. They're revealed when things are hard. The same is true for leaders. Discover your purpose at purposeofyou.com and follow me on social media at James M. Rink. Thank you for watching this episode of Purpose NIL.